Mood-based playlists curated by an AI agent have really never been possible. But now, thanks to n8n, they've never been easier. And in this workflow today, we're going to show you step by step, even if you're a beginner, how you can set this up for yourself. And we're going to get started right now. Let's hop right into the demo. That's always the best way to start. So the trigger for this n8n workflow is going to be in Telegram. So let's start by telling the AI what we are feeling in the mood for. You can just say what's on your mind. I had a long day at work. And what it's going to do is it's going to take that information and then run it through OpenAI, and it is going to curate a playlist for us. So let's run it and we will watch it happen here. So we can see that it finished and it will send us back a message to Telegram here. And here is our playlist. Now let's go check it out on Spotify here. So here we are in Spotify, and it decided based off our input that we need something chill. So it gave us some lo-fi chill vibes. And it looks pretty good here. We've got, I don't know too many of these artists, but let's just listen. And here, does this meet our... Yeah, pretty solid. And for good measure, let's just listen to one more here. Although it sounds like it's good. Yeah, sounds good. I mean, this is a good enough playlist. I might actually use this thing. And the cool part about it, you can see we've got the name here. This is when it was created. But this is a totally unique playlist. No other playlist on Spotify exists like this because this is truly generating a random playlist for you based off of the inputs that go into n8n and into the different nodes. And so if we wanted to generate another playlist, let's say we had a different sort of mood. Maybe it's Friday night and we are ready to party. Or maybe I am ready to party. And let's see here, it'll run in the background. Again, this workflow is not active, so you just have to click test workflow. And it should run because the message was still active. And we can see it already sent back. It decided we're in a party mood. So sent back a party playlist. So let's check this out in Spotify as well. All right, so not terrible. We got some Notorious B.I.G. We got some Chase Atlantic, Matthew Wilder, Benson Boone. Ooh, a little country in there too to mix it up. Dua Lipa. Great. Yeah, this seems like a viable playlist as well. And you could throw in really any mood that you're in, and it's going to give you something unique to that particular mood, however you express yourself to the AI, which is pretty unique. So let's hop back over to n8n here. All right, so we are going to go through this step by step. We're going to reconstruct this whole build from the canvas up. So we'll start with nothing and we will build up. But as always, if you want this workflow and you want to speed up the process, you can hop over to our community. And here's the community. You can find that link below in the description. And here is where you're going to grab your JSON file. You'll just click on this and then grab that JSON file and then head back over to n8n, click these three dots and import from file and just grab the file that you downloaded. It is that simple. There'll be a couple other steps you have to do, but you'll save yourself a lot of typing, a lot of time. If you want to grab this thing and get running with it and get going, that is definitely the strategy to use. But for the rest of us and for all the people who want a full walkthrough, we are going to do that right now. And we're going to open up a new instance of n8n in a totally new system that will allow us to configure all of our credentials and try to simulate the experience of setting this up as a first-time beginner n8n user in another workflow. So we'll start from you have no account and we'll get you the whole way here. All right, let's get started with that. So here we are in n8n. You are at this URL, n8n.io, and you're going to start by clicking Get Started. The absolute easiest way to get started on n8n is just to use the cloud trial, 14-day free trial. Highly recommend this. Just get started on it, sign up. I'm not sure if you have to put in your credit card, but just do this very fast, very simple. Put in your information, and then that'll take you to the next step. All right, and so here we are in n8n, and we're going to start by doing the least fun part first. We're going to set up all the API credentials. This is just a nice way to get the hard stuff out of the way first, and then we can get to the more fun stuff that'll happen in the n8n canvas. First credential we're going to set up is for Telegram. So let's come over here, press this button, and then press Create Credential. And once that loads, we'll type in Telegram. Click on the Telegram API, and then press Continue. And so what we'll need to do now in order to access Telegram is to download the Telegram app to our phone. So go ahead and take a minute and do that. Download Telegram to your phone. And once you're done doing that, you're going to navigate to web.telegram.org, and it will give you the option to scan this QR code on your phone. You can just follow these simple instructions to do that. All right, and so once you do that, you will be into Telegram, and you need to come to the Telegram app and just click on the search bar, or sometimes you have to press these three dots, and you need to search for Botfather. So type in Botfather, he will come up, just click that, and then you need to send the Botfather a message. What you're going to send to the Botfather, if you navigate down here, is /new bot, and just click this button and it'll generate a new bot for you. If Father asks you what you want to name your bot, just type in a name. I'm calling mine MapBot2. And then after that, you'll have to choose a username for your bot. Make sure the last three letters are bot. So just type those in and then put in some username. And there are a lot of bots that are created, so be very, very specific with your bot. We will call it Matt's bot for Spotify AI playlists bot. And once you do that, you will get an API key. You'll want to grab that API key and take it into n8n. And that is where I need to hop into my other n8n. Just give me one moment. Here we are. So you will just want to type in that access key that you copied from the Botfather and just paste it. And then if you click save, it should connect for you automatically. You can see down here, the credential was successfully connected. That is what we want. So that is the first step in our connecting of the APIs. The next credential that we need to generate is for OpenAI. So same process, come over here, click this little arrow, create credential, type in OpenAI. OpenAI, we don't want Azure. OpenAI, and then we need two things, the API key and we just need the API key. We don't need the organization ID. So let's open up a new tab and we'll head over to OpenAI's developer console. We're going to type in platform.openai.com. And that is going to take us here. And then from here, we can sign up if we do not already have a developer account. So go ahead and take a minute and sign up. Since I already have an account, I will meet you here when you are done. And once you're logged in, you're going to come over to this bar here and type in billing. And the first thing you need to do is add some credits to your account. If you don't add credits, you cannot make API calls successfully. So go ahead and add in $5 is perfect. You could even put in $3. That will get you plenty of API calls. And then once you add in that information, you're going to come back to your profile, or you can even just click on it right here. You can see it says API keys. And then you need to come over here and click this and generate a new secret key. You can call it your Spotify playlist AI bot key. That's perfect. Just select a default project. You can leave these the same, create a secret key. And then you're going to take that key, copy it, store it in a safe place so that you can use it for later. And you're going to take it back to n8n. In n8n, we're going to drop it into the API key box and we're going to click save. And if it was successful, we should see green everywhere, which we do, which is perfect. All right. And then the last thing that we need to do is we need to connect to the Spotify API. So we're going to do the same process, create a credential, type in Spotify, click that, click continue. And then this is deceptively simple. You're just going to connect your account, go through the sign in process, sign in, and it will connect. And then I will show you the next step after that. You're going to be heading over to Spotify's developer console. So you're going to go to developer.spotify.com, just like it's written up here. And if you are already logged in through the API, you shouldn't have to log in again, but otherwise do that. And then come over here to the top right, click dashboard. And we need to accept this. So we're going to accept the Spotify developer terms of service, accept the terms. Perfect. You will want to verify your email as well. And once you do that, you can head back to n8n. And you should have clicked agree in the little OAuth box that popped up. We should see green here. So we should be connected and we should have our 3 steps set up. This says it needs first setup. That should not be an issue for now. And what we're going to do now is we're going to hop into the canvas and we are going to start to build this out. So let's click on create workflow and we'll get to work. All right, so here we are in the canvas, and please don't forget that you can head over to the school community and start your free trial to grab that workflow straight from the classroom. And then you can pop that in by clicking import from file. That will allow you to build this flow out much more quickly, and then you'll be able to follow along more easily. But let's just get started by creating a Telegram trigger. We can click this or tab, and we'll type in Telegram. We'll come over and we'll select that, and we're going to choose on message. After we choose on message, we're going to make sure that our correct account shows up. Since we configured it already, it should be in there. So that should be good to go. The next thing we're going to do is we are going to add a set or edit fields node. So click on this button, type in set, and then click this. It will attach it automatically. And what we're going to be doing now is just leaving that there. It'll help to allow the workflow to run more smoothly. The next thing we're going to do is we are going to add into the workflow a OpenAI model. So let's come over here and type in OpenAI. We're going to click on this, and then we're going to get message a model. Our OpenAI credentials should have come in already, but just in case they didn't, double check on that. We're going to leave this as text. Message a model is fine. For our choice, we're going to use the mini GPT-4o mini. So just type in mini. We'll choose this. That will be sufficient for what we need. And then we are going to use this prompt. I'm pulling it from off screen. You're welcome to copy it. This is the prompt that is going to allow us to do what we need to do It's going to allow the AI to make a decision about what type of mood we are in. So you can see we're choosing between chill, energetic, focus, happy, sad, workout, or party. Those are the options. We can leave this as user. That's fine. And we actually don't have a system prompt. That is okay for this particular use case. So let's head back to the canvas here now that that is set up. And the next step that we are going to take is we are going to add in our first Spotify node. So we're going to click on this, type in Spotify, and then we are going to get a playlist. We're actually going to create a playlist. So we're going to scroll down to create a playlist. We'll click on that, make sure that our Spotify account is hooked up. We should have playlist and create a playlist. And then what you're going to type in here is whatever you want the name of your new playlist to be. I had it written down as this, Matt's Vibes, and then it'll put in the date so I know when it was created. If you wanted to spice this up just a little bit, you could dynamically grab the output of this model, this OpenAI model, after we run it. And you could drop it in here and it would say Matt's happy vibes, Matt's workout vibes, and then output the date. That is up to you. You can play around with that as you like. We're going to leave that as is for now. The next thing we're going to add is a switch node. The switch node is going to allow us, depending on the output of the AI, to create different playlists. So the switch node, what we need to do now is we will need to run the model once. So we're going to do that just so we can grab the values that we need. So let's go back to the canvas and we're going to fire this once. So what we'll need to do is either on our phone or on our computer is we're going to test this workflow and then we are going to send a message to the model. So go ahead and do that. Click test workflow and then open up your phone or open up your web browser where you have Telegram. So I have Mattbot here too. I'm just Mattbot2 right here. And I'm just going to put in the information that we need, which is really just how I'm feeling. I'm going to make it up and say, I'm happy, which is not made up. I am happy. So we're going to type that in. This should have been listening, but it looks like we didn't activate it. Sometimes it'll work retroactively. Yes, it did. Great. That's perfect. So we just needed to do this so that we can grab the correct outputs. Since we have our outputs now, we are going to map all of the switch values, all of the routing rules. So come here and in the input section, there's three sections here. You have your input, you have your configuration and your output. Let's click on table and we're going to click on this drop down and go back to OpenAI. And we just want to get this. So we're going to drag in where it says content. We're going to put in where it says value 1 content. We're going to leave that as is equal to. And then we're going to write in chill. And then we're going to add another routing rule. And before we do that, we're going to just write the output name. This will just make it a little bit easier for us to see. And we're going to say this is lo-fi chill. And then we're going to add another routing rule. We're going to grab that same thing here and we're going to drop it into value 1 is equal to is fine. And we are going to write energetic. We're going to rename the output as EDM hits. We're going to add another routing rule. We're going to grab that same value from here, or you can copy from here. It's the same thing. Copy that. And then our next value is going to be focus. So just type in focus. We're going to rename the output as deep focus. We're going to scroll down and add another routing rule. And this one, after we grab the OpenAI module, is going to be equal to happy. Now that we have happy, we're going to add the output name as upbeat hits. We're going to add another routing rule. I'm sure you're starting to get the flow here. We're going to grab this OpenAI node. We're going to copy it there. And we're going to say this is equal to sad. We're going to rename the output as mellow bangers. And then we're going to scroll down. We're going to add another routing rule. We're getting towards the end. We're going to copy that in, paste it, and we're going to add workout as the value. We're going to rename the output as weightlifting power hits. And then the final, what you're going to grab from here and paste. And this value is going to be party. We're going to rename this output as pop hits. Pop hits, great. And we can leave convert types when where required. We'll leave that as is. And we'll just head back to the canvas here. We'll recenter this so it looks nice. And we should have 7 different switches that will be triggered depending on what comes into our model. So we'll just zoom out here. And the next step for us is to add the Spotify nodes, which will be going and retrieving the different tracks for our playlist. So let's hook up one node first. We'll start with Lo-Fi Chill. We'll type in Spotify. We'll click on Spotify, and then we will go to Get Track. And you can find Get Track all the way at the bottom here. Get a track. We're going to make sure that our Spotify account is in correctly. This should say track. This should say search. So we won't actually be getting a track, we'll be searching for a track. And then our search keyword is going to be lo-fi chill. So we'll type that in, and then we are going to make this limit 15 instead of 50. Once we do that, we can go back to the canvas, and we're going to spread these out a little bit. And we're actually going to copy this node. So click on this node, press Control C, or right click and press copy. So Control C and then Control V, or Command V on a Mac, or you could press just paste or duplicate. We'll do it. And we're going to hook this up to EDM hits. So just make that connection. And I also forgot, this is just so things are more organized. We should rename these. So if you press this and then right click and press rename, or you can press F2 on your keyboard when this is highlighted. That will allow you to rename the track. We're going to say this is Lo-Fi Chill. This just allows us to be more organized. We're going to rename this as EDM Hits. And we will rename it. We're going to double click on it again. We're going to go in here, and our search keyword is going to be EDM Hits. Everything else will stay the same. We'll go back to the canvas. We're going to duplicate this node again. You can right click, duplicate, or press Control C, Control V. That will do it as well. We're going to hook up Deep Focus. We're going to change the name to Deep Focus. We'll click rename. We're going to double click. We're going to type in where it says EDM hits, and we're going to type in Deep Focus. We'll go back to the canvas. We're going to highlight these by double clicking and dragging just to create a little more space. And then copy and paste this to create another node, another Spotify node. We're going to link that up to Upbeat Hits. You're probably getting the flow by now. So for the rest of these nodes, we are going to just copy in the name up here, Upbeat Hits. We'll change the name as we've been doing, and then we'll meet you back after you've done that. And once you're back, your workflow should look something like this. The next step that we are going to do is we're going to connect all of these nodes to a set node. So you're going to click on this plus button, or you can press tab on your keyboard and type in set, and then click on that. We're going to go back out to the canvas just so we can connect it first. You can see it might be connected to one of yours. That's fine. We're going to move it down here, and we're just going to connect all of these different nodes to our current node. And then we are going to map the fields for that node. And in order to do this correctly, we're going to have to grab our Telegram trigger node, or our Telegram message. And we're just going to tell it how we're feeling. I am so excited for my workout. And we'll make sure we test the workflow. We should really press test workflow before. And when you activate this, it will respond to you automatically, but we can see everything flowed through correctly. It gave us EDM hits. So let's just map these things out. We are going to grab a couple of these values. And so we're going to click add a field. And the first thing we're going to type in is URI. And to save you some time from having to look through all of the values and map them correctly, we're just going to show you a quick shortcut here. You're going to select this value and then make 2 curly braces. This is going to generate an expression in JavaScript, and then type $JSON dot URI. That should light up green because it's going to grab this value. We also need to map another field. This field is going to be called external underscore URLs. And we are going to choose as this value. This is going to be an object. And then the value is going to be 2 curly braces. The other curly braces should pop up after. If they don't, make sure they do. The same here as well. And then $JSON dot external. And you can choose here URLs. That's what we need. It should light up green. If it doesn't light up green, then you just want to double check that. Or you can drop a comment and we can help you with that. All right. The next step after that is you're going to go back to your canvas, and we need to add another node. We're going to add another Spotify node here. You can just press this button, type in Spotify, click on this, and the node that we are going to add is we need to get a playlist node. So scroll down until you see playlist actions and click add an item to a playlist. This should say your account, this should say playlist, this should say add an item, and then we should have the option for 2 values here. So we are going to put in the 2 values that we just mapped in the previous node, but you can see they're not here yet because we didn't run the previous node. So let's back out of the node and we'll see if we can run it from here. Sometimes it won't let us. Let's click on this play button and we'll see if it pushes the values through. It did. That's great. It'll save us a little bit of time. Let's click on this Spotify node again. And where it says playlist ID, we are going to drag in the URI. So just drag that in. And I just realized that you actually do not need to drag that in, so delete that. We're actually going to go back to a previous node. So make sure table is selected in your input section, click the drop down menu, And we are going to navigate back to this Spotify node. It'll say 4 nodes back if you're following along. Click on that, and we are going to get the URI from here. So if we scroll over to where it says URI, we can drag in from here that URI, and we should see this .item.json.uri. That's how we know we're in the correct place. Now we need to grab our track ID. Let's make sure table is selected. From this drop down, let's go to our edit fields. And from here, we can grab this URI. We'll drop that in, and let's just test the step, and we should get some values that come out here. And we can see that we do. We have 15 items, which is what we want. We'll be adding 15 items to our playlist. Let's head back to the canvas. We're getting close to the finish here, and we're going to add another node. The node that we're going to add next is we are going to add an aggregate node. Aggregate. So type in aggregate, click on that node. And what this is going to do is reduce the number of items. We're just going to call this Spotify playlist. And all this is going to do is turn all of these items into one individual item, which will allow the API to run more efficiently when we send our message back to Telegram. And our final node that we're going to add is a Telegram node, which is going to send a message back. We're going to type in Telegram, and we are going to type send message, scroll down to message actions, or you can also just type in send a message. And you can choose text message. And in here, make sure your Telegram account is still connected. It should be. You should choose message, send message. Those things should stay the same. And we are going to go the whole way back to our original chat ID. In order to get access to this, we're going to have to test the step first. So just click test step. It should give us an error. And this is probably because it's not connected. So let's go back to the canvas. Let's make sure it's connected, link it up. Let's test it again. We should still get an error. Let's execute the previous node. This is what we want to do. Great. This will allow us to connect to the other nodes. So let's make sure we select table, choose the drop down list here, and go the whole way back to our Telegram trigger. We are going to get our chat ID. This is going to be the ID that registers you in Telegram. You can grab either of these. Let's just grab this one. We will drop that in. And then the next step will be to type in your text response. Let's just use the response that I wrote in the original message. We'll drop that in. And that will send back the name of the type or the type of playlist that it's sending back. So here's your happy playlist. You can see here, here's the output. Here's your energetic playlist, and it gives us the link, which is what we want. So we will close out of this and head back to the canvas. And this is the final flow. So if all of this is configured correctly, when we send our new flow through, we should get another playlist. So let's test this. We'll click test workflow, and then we'll grab our Telegram message. Here's Telegram, and let's say, I am ready to party. And we'll see it's running correctly. And it responded with a playlist. One last thing, we can get rid of this here. I didn't include that step by clicking on Telegram, clicking add fields, append n8n attribution, turn that off. And then let's go back to Telegram. Let's see what it created for us in a party playlist. And we can see here, it did what we asked it to do. If you got a lot of value out of this video, please subscribe to our channel. And if you really want to dig into all things automation and AI, please join our school community. You can find that link below. We are regularly putting out new resources, new tutorials. We have Zoom meetings and get together calls in the community, which you'll have access to if you join. There are all sorts of great resources in there if you're looking to get started with not only learning AI, but profiting from AI and automations. That is all for this tutorial today. We will see you in the next one.